All right, welcome. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're diving into the art of explanation itself, and we're going to do it by breaking down just one sentence. Yep, that's it. Let's jump in.
So here's the big question, right? How do you explain a whole universe of an idea in like 10 seconds? I mean, we live in this world of endless scrolling. You don't have an hour to make your point. You've got a handful of seconds, tops. So how do you grab someone, make a big idea click, before they just swipe on by?
And look, this is a challenge every single one of us faces. Doesn't matter if you're a teacher, a marketer, or you're just trying to explain a confusing movie plot to a friend. These days, it's not just about knowing something. The real skill, the real superpower, is making that knowledge simple, memorable, making it stick.
Think about it. We are just swimming in this massive ocean of information every single day. So the fight for attention, it's intense. And those first few seconds are everything. They are absolutely critical. If your idea isn't crystal clear and engaging right out of the gate, you've lost them. They're gone. On to the next thing.
But what if there was a formula for this, a kind of secret recipe for explaining things really well, hiding right there in plain sight? Well, you know what? We think we actually found one, and it was tucked away in this short, kind of weirdly phrased creative brief for a 10-second video.
Okay, here it is. This is the raw text, the artifact we're going to pull apart. I'm going to read it exactly as it was written. Now, yeah, it's a bit of a jumble of French and English, I know, but believe it or not, inside this one sentence is a complete blueprint for how to explain, well, anything. So let's break it down piece by piece. All right, so the very first step in this recipe, the first ingredient, tells us exactly how to handle a big, complicated idea. And here's the secret. It's not about adding more stuff. It's about taking things away, stripping it all back until only the most essential part is left. So the brief says it right here, large concept resume in nicely way. This is, without a doubt, the first rule of any great explanation. Before you start adding bells and whistles, you have to subtract. You've got to boil your idea down to its absolute core. Ask yourself, what's the one thing my audience absolutely has to get? That's where you start. And this is a perfect way to think about it. On one side, you have a term like quantum entanglement. I mean, it's technically precise, but for most of us, that's just a wall of jargon, right? But then, look at how Einstein put it. Spooky action at a distance. Is it 100% scientifically rigorous? Maybe not, but it's visual, it's memorable, and it paints a picture that makes you curious. That's the goal. Now, our brief also uses that word vulgarize. In English, the word vulgar can sound, a little negative, but the original French, vulgariser, is actually a really beautiful idea. It means to popularize something, to make a really complex topic accessible and understandable to everybody. It's not about dumbing it down, it's about knocking down the walls and inviting everyone inside to understand. Okay, so you've boiled down your big idea into something simple. That's step one. But a simple idea floating out there by itself isn't enough if people can't connect with it. And that brings us right to the second key ingredient in our recipe. You have to make it relatable. So the brief keeps going, right? It says, use examples to make a complex concept easy for everyone to understand. That's the key right there. Examples are the bridge. An abstract idea, that lives up here, in your head. But a good example? That connects it to the audience's world. It takes something abstract and makes it totally real. So this basically gives us a simple 3-step process we can all use. First, you isolate that core idea, just like we talked about. Second, find a relatable analogy, a story, a metaphor, something from everyday life. And third, you connect the two. You literally show them how your big, complex idea is just like that simple thing they already get. All right, so we've got the core message, and we've got the examples to make it connect. But our little brief here, it doesn't stop there. It actually gets into the final, super important details of delivery. And this shows us something crucial. How you say something can be just as important as what you're saying. I mean, look at how specific this is. A female voice with an American accent. The person who wrote this brief totally understood that the voice itself sets a tone. They were picking out a specific instrument to deliver this message, one they thought would connect best with their audience. It's a conscious choice about creating a feeling of trust or authority or maybe warmth. Then it says dialogue in English. Now, that might seem super obvious, but it's actually a really important choice about removing friction. See, every single barrier to understanding, language included, makes your explanation less effective. You've got to meet your audience where they are, in a language they're comfortable with.
And finally, the brief says use the image of SEIAP. This last piece is all about authenticity. Your explanation can't just exist in a vacuum. It has to be connected to the identity of whoever's delivering it, whether that's a person or a brand. It has to feel credible. It has to feel consistent with who you are. The message and the messenger, they have to be in sync.
So, there you have it. That's the whole recipe, unpacked from that one kind of messy sentence. It boils down to 4 key ideas. 1, distill your concept down to its absolute core. 2, use relatable examples to build a bridge to your audience. 3, think about the right voice and tone for your message. And 4, make sure it's all grounded in your authentic identity.
And that really brings us to the end. The principles here are actually pretty simple, but they are so powerful. You can use this framework to explain literally anything, from quantum physics to your new business plan. So the only question left for you is, what big, complicated idea are you going to make beautifully simple next?